Hello everyone, this is Bertina Amy here and welcome to my channel. So today's video was actually filmed a year ago, but I never got around to finalizing the editing process to be able to post sooner. So here we are going over the very first video I ever created, which is this DIY toy stitch cloche type of ornament. The stitch can be found in the toy section of the Dollar Tree, and you can easily find these DIY ornaments in the Christmas section. So the first thing I do is I take this marker, doesn't matter what kind, and I just use it to try to trace around the bottom part of the opening of this cloche ornament, and I try to press into this thick foam I had around for a previous project. And it turns out I really didn't even need the marker, so you can skip that, but just make an indentation into the foam and cut around it with scissors. If you had used white foam instead of black like I did, then you can skip this step, but I didn't have thick white foam, so instead I cut out some white felt to match the black foam I cut out and glued the white felt to the black foam, so that way it looks like they're standing on white snow. Then I glued the foam piece into the lid of this cloche DIY ornament, which they call the jar one in Dollar Tree, and I'm careful to make sure that there's enough of a gap so that I could actually close the actual ornament once it's finished. So it looks like I did not record this other part, but basically I created sort of a red and white Christmassy Santa type hat to cover up the metal part of the top part of this cloche ornament, but I do have the part where I'm actually wrapping the white fuzzy part of the hat and gluing it with hot glue around the top part of this globe. And I just did not like the metal look. It just looks so cheapy to me, so I decided to cover it up with making it look like there's a hat on top of this globe, so to speak. And I just hot glue it on and make sure to string through. I decided to use pipe cleaners for mine because I thought that would be more sturdy than string, and I like that for hanging onto a tree. So, you know, just feel free to use whatever you prefer. I bought this, I think it was a 12 pack of mini Christmas hats for projects like this, and I wanted to give Stitch a mini Christmas hat, so I go ahead and trim it down because they're really long, but I trim it down to be closer to his size, and I glue it onto his head, and I think that looks really cute. You could leave it straight up, but you could also glue it to the side or to the back. I decided to glue it to the side off camera after the fact. Then I took some faux snow. They have two different kinds last year at least, and there was the ones that look like little round balls and the ones that look more flaky, and I chose the flaky kind, and I just poured in enough to just put a layer into the lid or into the glass or the globy type part, so that way I knew it would cover up any of the black sides of that foam that I had. And then I just closed it with the lid on top, and then I shook it up so that it would just get all over the place inside the globe. And for the pipe cleaner, I feel like the Dollar Tree pipe cleaners are really thin, so I decided to double it up by bending it in half, because you don't need more than that length anyways, and then twisting it upon itself, and then putting it through the loop of the cloche ornament, and then just pinching it towards the top and then twisting it so that you have a whole loop to hang from. For this next DIY toy cloche ornament, we are doing the combination of WallE and Eve from the movie WallE. And I just went to the toy section again and picked out the toy pieces to basically disassemble. But I basically start out first with the cloche piece and cut out another circle black foam piece, but instead of using the white felt that I had on hand, I actually had this nice gray felt that kind of makes you think of like gravel, and it made me think that it matched very well with the WallE scheme of the whole beginning part of the story, so I decided to use that instead of the white felt, and that way it looks like he's on the ground and whatnot. For Eve, you could actually pull the blue stand back and forth and it'll eventually come right off, but then there'll still be the little bit of like this blue tubing left just below her, so I just take a craft knife and just keep cutting through it until it comes completely off and I'm clear of any of that blue stuff. Unfortunately, it's not the same for WallE. That stuff, I'm worried about tearing up tires or tracks underneath him. So I decided to wrap that up with some more of that gray felt that I have so that it blends in better. But it's not without serious hassle and trial and error, and it just didn't work out with so much time spent trying to fix that problem. But the next challenge for this project was trying to get Eve to look like she's floating or gliding as opposed to actually sitting on the ground. So I decided to basically poke a hole on top of her head and making it thicker and thicker to fit this clear stem, so to speak. I don't remember what it's called. I'll try to get back to you on that. But I tried hot glue. Hot glue is not the solution for this project. Definitely want stronger glue, so I use this Pro glue that you'll see on the screen, and I use that to try to get the piece to permanently adhere to the top of her head, and then I'll string it through the top of the actual ornament so that it looks like she's gliding, if that makes sense. So as you can see, I even tried to use a screw to try to enlarge the opening at the top of her head and to squeeze the clear wire is what it's called, and I let it sit overnight to dry, and then I move on to WallE. So the stand that WallE is on is just really attached to his wheels, and I'm afraid to take the wheels off or tear them and make it not look right or look good. So eventually I scrapped the idea of going ahead and trying to cut them off with the craft knife. So instead I decided to wrap them with some more of that gray felt that I have an excess of, thankfully. And then here you can see that I'm taking the red sort of felt, kind of that hat material that you typically see for Christmas time, and I'm just attaching it to that sort of thin tin covering for where the loop is at the top. I don't know what it's called. If you know what it is, please let me know in the comments below. But basically, I want to cover it up because that sort of tin looking thing is just so flimsy and cheapy looking that I want to cover it up to make it look like there's a hat at the top of this globe. So here I'm just testing out how I'm going to attach this clear wire to the top of the hat and hide it. And I'm just working through how high I want it up and things like that. Then once I'm happy with the placement, I go ahead and glue the clear wire to the top of the hat and then wrap the hat once more with some more of that red material to cover up and help adhere and keep the clear wire in place. And it actually bulks up the hat even more, which doesn't even faze me or bother me in any sort of way. But then I finally take the white fluffy stuff and go ahead and attach that to the top of the globe. Then I close the globe and I turn my attention to WallE. So with WallE, I just go ahead and take the gray felt and I just make sure to cover up any visible blue plastic that I see. And I know the very bottom is going to be covered up because it's going to be glued directly onto the piece that's already glued into the lid of the globe piece, if that makes sense. So I just go ahead and cover up the edges and the top parts of the blue piece. And I do the best I can to try to make it fit as perfectly as I can so that nothing else is visible as far as the blue plastic is concerned. Once I'm satisfied with that, I take off the tag and then I take out the snowflakes that I selected, pour a little bit into the sort of glass piece of the globe thing and put in just a little bit just so it looks like it's snowing when I shake it, and I then put the lid on, and that's how I made that one. Let me know in the comments below which of these is your favorite DIY Dollar Tree toy ornaments. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye!